the news updates. And then also we'll come through with some of the highlights that we are, have been giving as far as politics is concerned. We've been giving the national polls by Global Info Analytics. This afternoon, we'll spend some time with Mr. Musa Dankwa, who is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, who will exactly take us through what his polls outcome means. The individual independent ones he's done on the political parties, in fact, the main two leading political parties, the NPP and the NDC, they are indeed informing our political, map today. And so definitely want to know what exactly is happening with those parties. You want to be interested in how the polls went and how he would explain it to us. He'll join us later in the studio to do the analysis. We'll have the political parties also join us to let us know what they make of the outcome of these polls. For now, good afternoon, Desmond.
Good afternoon, Annie. Yeah.
All right, so what do we have in the news this afternoon?
Well, this afternoon, the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has been speaking to some Ghanaian residents, outside the country. We'll talk about that and also about the MMDCE nominations. Some issues coming from that. We'll talk about that in the bulletin. So let's get right into it. It's time for the news updates. Coming up in the bulletin, we'll tell you about the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who has revealed that government will scrap the COVID-19 levy in its next budget. Coming up, NDC executives at Achiman-Wabija South Municipality vehemently reject the nomination of former parliamentary candidate Osei Wisdom Boamah for the position of the municipal chief executive. We'll tell you more. And the International Monetary Fund warns the recent U.S. tariffs will have dire consequences on global economies. We'll tell you that also in this bulletin. Please stay with us. Hello again, many thanks for joining us. I am Desmond Okrekudanso, and we begin from the tariffs from the United States. And the International Monetary Fund has raised concerns over the newly announced tariff measures, warning that they could threaten an already fragile global economic outlook. In a statement issued on Thursday, the IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said the institution is still analyzing the full macroeconomic impact of the tariffs, which were unveiled by the U.S. government on Wednesday. She emphasized that the measures clearly represent significant risk to the global outlook at a time of sluggish growth. Georgieva added that the IMF's assessment of the tariffs' impact will be published in its upcoming World Economic Outlook, set to be released during the IMF and World Bank spring meetings later this month. Now, the warning from the IMF adds to growing concerns among economists and global leaders about the resurgence of protectionist policies and their potential to disrupt global supply chains, increase inflationary pressures, and slow down recovery in emerging markets. Definitely something that we'll be looking forward to in the coming days, which will dominate the headlines. Now, away from that, the Member of Parliament for Forson South, Reverend Ntim Fojo, has dismissed the President's comments on the allegations of money laundering and drug trafficking at the Kotoka International Airport as mere rhetoric. Speaking on Good Morning Ghana earlier today, he also claimed that he had not been invited to assist with investigations as directed by the President. On his part, South Dai MP Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo criticized Reverend Ntim Fojo for his approach in scandalizing the government in the media and peddling falsehoods. He also criticized Reverend Ntim Fojo, stated that he's failing to provide substantial evidence regarding allegations of drugs and money laundering.
They are not running away from further exposition. Why did he block? Why did he block the letter? Why did he block my demand for that joint meeting And I stated in the letter, you read it on your show, to afford them the opportunity for collaboration so that if there's any further information we need to divulge, which we can't do so on media in the spirit of circumspection, we exchange such details.
That's fine.
And then, look, we raised 3 matters, but there's one that seems to be extremely of discomfort to them. And instead of allowing the professionals whose job it is to provide such responses, they are sweating all over the place with it. Is it the Daffia Mekot or Kwatio Fosu, the one that is handling the manifest? Is he the one in charge of national security at the airport? Is he the one in charge of cocaine bust in this country? Is he a national security coordinator? And he wants us to believe that he is the authority. And if they are not running away from further exposition.
Now, the National Democratic Congress in the Echuma in Wabija South Municipality is facing internal upheaval as party executives vehemently reject the nomination of former parliamentary candidate Osei Wisdom Boamah for the position of municipal chief executive. Now, the executives accuse Boamah of contributing to the party's electoral failure in the constituency and warn that his appointment could weaken party unity and grassroots support. Addressing the media at a press conference, the NDC Constituency Secretary Godfred Petigo expressed strong opposition to Boamah's nomination, labeling him as unfit for the position. He stressed that the party executives would not accept his appointment, citing concerns about his leadership capabilities and commitment to the party's progress.
We just want to make things clear to everybody that we are rejecting the nomination of Wisdom Osei Boamah as MC. And also to clear all that, and he has been tarnishing the image of our national chairman, and we want also to clear our national chairman because we believe that he's a man of principle. If the national chairman can hear from us, he should let us know because he is our boss and we believe in him, and we believe that he will not do anything that will affect the future of the party.
The controversy surrounding the nomination has further escalated with allegations of corruption within the Ghana school feeding program. Speaking at the same press conference, the Echuma in Wabija South NDC women's organizer Hajia Fati Adams raised concerns over reports that sections of the school feeding program had been illicitly sold to unidentified individuals.
Papa John Dramani Mahama about power. A man also in him says, school feeding a omoja padie. Nan sama yet it's a shop, a popa, monomini no what school feeding a my. Tinin say, Yamame, Ajia Fatia or that school feeding and not ever national. Or Mama has want to say, school feeding, young completely wants them. And see, yet, that's what said the yente. But yeah, peace, yeah, can ask some yenya as MMC. And now better no way ever say, boss, do I mammy? Or better no way ever say, boss, at all school feeding a hamame. The amano any of brimeso. Sabe, they say, me near some dear cry, I watch Mamma be a job because.
And we'll definitely keep tabs on all the nominations across the country and bring you more subsequently. Now, from that, Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Kudjeto Ablakwa, has engaged with the Ghanaian community in Benin as part of a new initiative to address the concerns of citizens living abroad. The initiative aims at gathering first-hand information on concerns of Ghanaians living abroad and ways to deal with them.
The minister's visit forms part of a government-backed outreach initiative aimed at strengthening direct engagement between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ghanaian communities overseas. Through this initiative, the minister and his team will visit Ghanaian embassies and diasporan communities to gain first-hand insight into their challenges and living conditions. During the Benin leg of the outreach, Mr. Ablakwa met with Ghanaian students, women groups, and community leaders to listen to their concerns and provide policy updates. Currently, over 2,000 Ghanaians reside in Benin, facing challenges such as the non-recognition of Ghanaian consular ID cards, restrictions on trade and movement, difficulty acquiring the Ghana card, and lack of support for stranded travelers. Security-related harassment, especially when transporting goods to Ghana by road, was also raised. The community further appealed to the government to expedite the implementation of the Representation of the People Amendment Law to enable them to vote in national elections. In response, the Minister, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, assured the community of government's commitment to addressing their concerns, particularly those affecting women, students, and business operators. He also announced a $2 million emergency support fund established by the government to assist Ghanaians living abroad in times of crisis.
There is power in transparency and accountability. Once the executives do well, you are always rendering accounts, you are being transparent. You see everybody will be willing to contribute, and you will be amazed what you can achieve.
Well, still staying with the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, he has announced plans to increase the monthly stipends of Ghanaian students studying abroad under government-sponsored programs. Although specific figures weren't disclosed, consultations are set to begin soon to review and enhance these allowances.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, embarked on an official visit to Cotonou, Benin, where he met with the Ghanaian community to address pressing concerns and provide support. A key issue on the agenda was the timely disbursement of stipends to Ghanaian students studying in Benin. The minister pledged to ensure that these students receive their stipends in a timely manner, alleviating some of the financial pressures they face while pursuing their education abroad. Currently, students in a one-year exchange program receive a monthly stipend of 45,000 CFA, an equivalent to 1,147 Ghana cedis, along with a one-time book allowance of 60,000 CFA, an equivalent to 1,500, and another 60,000 CFA for medical expenses. Despite the financial support, students expressed concern over recent changes to the program's duration. The 12-month program has been reduced to 6 months, which students argue is insufficient to meet the academic requirements of their courses. According to students, this change has caused apprehension among students who are worried about the impact on their academic progress and future opportunities. The minister acknowledged their concerns, emphasizing his commitment to supporting Ghanaian students abroad and exploring ways to address the challenges they face. The meeting brought together over 100 participants, including students from University of Media, Arts and Communication, UNIMAC, the University of Ghana, and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, who are currently studying French in Benin. The minister's visit is part of a new policy to engage with Ghanaians abroad quarterly, providing a platform for citizens to express their concerns and receive support from the government. Benin and Nigeria are the first countries on the minister's travel schedule, marking the beginning of a broader initiative to connect with Ghanaian communities worldwide.
You're still watching the news updates here, and good afternoon, Ghana. Staying with the Foreign Affairs Minister, well, he has actually mentioned that the COVID-19 levy will be taken out from the NDC government's next budget. And we'll give you details of that subsequently. Now, away from that, the 2024 research by the Media Foundation for West Africa has placed the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, the Electoral Commissioner, Jean Mensah, and wife of the NPP presidential candidate, Samira Bawumia, among the top 5 targeted women in online-based gender violence in Ghana. Director of Freedom of Expression and Digital Rights for the Foundation, Dora Buama-Mauto, at a forum aimed at countering the issue, called for the amendment of Act 1038 of the Cybersecurity Act 2020 to address the issue of online gender-based violence.
The data was derived from 5 social media platforms, namely Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, and Ghana Web. The findings captured politician Ellen Amadako and media practitioner Nana Abba Anamwa among the 5 most targeted women. Some of the categories of the online gender-based violence included doxing, cyberbullying, threats, hate speech, and body shaming, mostly made by men with pseudonames, which makes it difficult to identify the individuals according to the research. Director of Freedom of Expression and Digital Rights for the Media Foundation for West Africa, Dora Buama-Mauto, called for amendment of Act 1038 of the Cybersecurity Act 2020 to address the issues.
When we are talking about, for instance, these insults and abuse and offensive comments, when you talk about body shaming, when you talk about the doxing and all that, they are not clearly stipulated in the Act. So we need to expand it or have a separate policy that looks specifically at online gender-based violence, and then we tackle it accordingly. I think that will go a long way to help.
She wants public education intensified as a measure to deal with the issue.
We must first of all know what it is. Believe and accept that it exists, like you said. And then we start talking to people about it. It's been there for long, but behavioral change doesn't happen overnight. It's a consistent and a continuum of activities sustained over years, and then you can get results. The unfortunate part is because some of these works are largely dependent on available funding. You can only go as far as the funding would last.
Some participants made recommendations on how victims should conduct themselves, among others.
Tuesday was holiday. We were all over the country in secondary schools talking about online safety. You get it? So we need this kind of collaboration. Internet Society is open to everyone. Come on board, let's collaborate.
To be craving for knowledge in order to know where to go to seek information and all of that. So yeah, we have a role to play, much as every other stakeholder has a role to play in ensuring that the space is safe and sane.
The event was on the theme Countering Online Gender-Based Violence in Ghana, from evidence to action.
Now, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kezia Tuforsin, has announced plans to roll out a policy that will require all state agencies to procure some essential goods only from local producers. There's more in the following report.
During a meeting with the leadership of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Finance Minister Dr. Kezia Tuforsin announced that government will soon publish a list of items that all public sector agencies must procure locally. This will ensure that government procurement serves as a tool to develop the industries. He further disclosed that any government procurement from outside Ghana will require special approval from the Office of the President. The minister also revealed that the government has identified key smuggling routes and will soon announce strict measures to stop the influx of smuggled goods that unfairly compete with locally manufactured products. As part of the broader industrial strategy, Dr. Tuforsin called for a working session with industry leaders to explore how local businesses can actively participate in the government's 24-hour economy program to drive production and economic expansion. The upcoming mandatory local procurement policy policy is expected to provide a significant boost to Ghana's manufacturers, ensuring that government spending contributes directly to the growth of local businesses and the expansion of the national economy.
Now, the Vice-Chancellor of the Accra Technical University, Professor Amevi Akakpovi, has called on government to put in place policies to enhance digital literacy to equip women to participate fully in the technology space. This, the Vice-Chancellor maintains, would help bridge the gender gap in the field of digital economy.
This was in a speech read on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor to Climax International Women's Day 2025 for the theme, Advancing the Role of Women in Digital Economy and AI Innovation. The event was organized by the university, who was in partnership with I Believe Global. The Vice-Chancellor called on government to improve internet accessibility, especially in the rural communities.
So what it simply means is, if we have a barrier for women, we stifle them, we don't give them opportunities, it means that the nation will not grow. That is it. If you have different opportunities, or you have different job opportunities, and you see only males, only men, it is not good for any nation.
The director for I Believe Global, Professor Smile Gavois, established that her outfit is committed to achieving gender equality in the country. Professor Smile encouraged women to set a vision and work towards achieving their future aspirations.
AI and its digitalization, the research has shown that we have fewer ladies in the area. It's a new area, not new as such, but when the research we have in Ghana, though we have some few ladies that are performing very well, the gap is quite wide, okay? So we are encouraging the faculty members of Accra Technical University, the students of Accra Technical University and second cycle institution, that artificial intelligence and digitalization is an area that they must look at to be able to make it in this world now.
Professor Nana Yao Asabre called for the introduction of coding at early stage to increase learning abilities in the country.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Simon Maji, says plans are underway to reform part of the GIPC law to attract more foreign investors into the country. He further highlighted opportunities for both local and foreign investors to capitalize on the government's 24-hour economy policy and seamlessly integrate into the African Continental Free Trade Area, offering access to a vast regional market.
The Ghanaian government has reiterated its commitment to creating a favorable investment environment to attract foreign investors and boost economic development. Addressing journalists at the inauguration of a third operation site of Teleperformance Ghana, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, Simon Maji, highlighted opportunities for both local and foreign investors to capitalize on the government's 24-hour economy policy.
Also plans underway to reform part of the GIPC law, which is to attract a lot more FDI into the country. But it's important for us to look at everything within the broader context of what's happening around the world. So we must open up our own country for investment, and that's what we're doing. We must encourage those already investing here to reinvest a lot more, like what we've just witnessed. TP has been here for 3 years. Now they want to move their staff to 2,000 and to 5,000 and almost to 10,000 and beyond. So government is ready to give them the support which is required. My colleague have said we do have the trained labor, which is around to work, highly skilled labor, the conditions the government is willing to work upon the investment environment and to open up the space for them.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Digital Center, Jifa Gunu, who represented the Minister for Communications and Digital Innovation, expressed excitement at interventions and prospects by private investors in creating jobs for the youth.
We are excited as Ghana Digital Center. What we set out to do is attractive, even though this center is not really at our center, but we've been able to open the door for BPO services across the country.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Teleperformance Ghana, Dr. Thomas Markenbrock, and Human Resource Manager Elma Masela Eson both reaffirmed the company's commitment to developing Ghana by offering more employment opportunities and direct foreign investments.
It's the first time in Ghana And we are really looking forward to a promising future in the next years, where we want to build new great jobs in Ghana and help to build supporting the country.
We're also very big on people development because we strive to grow with the people within the organization. Most of our promotions are done internally, and so we understand that we have to groom people to take up these roles. So as an organization, we have a strategy, a people strategy of ensuring that we are empowering our employees and that we are giving them a platform to develop and grow as the business continues to grow.
Currently, the firm has employed over 1,300 in Ghana and runs 2 operating sites.
Now, Thekla Ricketts, head of Secretariat of the Africa Economic Zones Chamber, has urged stakeholders and private investors to play a pivotal role in fostering industrial growth to drive economic development. She made this call during the Africa Industrial Trade Show 2025 here in Accra.
Business. Thank you for having me. So the 3-day event we had, which is the Africa Industrial Trade Show, has been spearheaded by the Africa Economic Zones Chamber, the Ghana Secretariat. And as you heard a lot on the forum or during the forum yesterday, we are gathering here all stakeholders in the industrial ecosystem, from developers to manufacturers to suppliers to investors to financiers and of course the consumers. And the purpose for gathering each and every one of all these stakeholders is to promote our industrial ecosystem in Ghana. Of course, we've started with policy advocacy, we've started with training, but this is also encourage the players in the industry to know that we are supporting their business. We would want them to come together, cooperate, coordinate, and then also share resources among them. So that's what the economic zone is about. That's what industrial support is about. And of course, most of the people exhibiting here already have the system, they have the industrial provisions and facilities that is supporting cooperation among people. If you want to manufacture in Ghana, for instance, and you're able to find any of the industrial zones, the Dawa industrial zones or Apollonia, any of them, you have available on their sites, warehouses, you have access to finance, you have access to water, electricity at affordable prices, which will boost your production, which will support you. We are inviting and calling all Ghanaians to show up at the exhibition today. Come and see what we have for you, what these businesses have for you, and how we can all work together to promote our sector. Well, thank you very much for having us.
Now, the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, has launched an agricultural acceleration initiative aimed at transforming Ghana's agricultural landscape. Now, the initiative, dubbed Feed Ghana program, seeks to boost agricultural production to feed Ghanaians, provide raw materials for agro-industries, and create jobs.
Objectives of the initiative Feed Ghana program include ensuring food security, alleviating poverty, and stabilizing food prices. The program will establish farmers' service centers, develop farm banks, promote crop cultivation, support urban farming, revitalize the poultry industry, and increase local raw material production. These efforts are designed to generate sustainable employment while empowering young people and women. Here is the Minister of Agri, Eric Opoku.
The Feed Ghana program is an integrated agricultural acceleration program to boost agricultural production, to feed Ghanaians, and provide raw materials for agro-industry and create jobs. These efforts are intended to ultimately ensure food security, alleviate inflationary pressures on food prices, increase export potential, and support sustained economic growth in the long term. Under this, we are going to launch the Farmers Service Centers across the country to deliver essential mechanization support services, including training, technical guidance, and market access.
The minister explained that the program has become necessary due to Ghana's over-reliance on food imports, which currently exceed $2 billion annually.
We have water. We have cheap labor. We have everything it takes to use agriculture as the engine for economic transformation. So we want every Ghanaian wherever you are in this country, to have your own garden in the house. We cannot understand why, in spite of our agricultural potentials, our country is still spending a whopping $400 million annually to import tomato from Burkina Faso. If Burkina Faso can do it, why is it that Ghana cannot do it? We spend $24 million annually to import onion from Niger. If Niger can produce onion, why is it that we cannot do it in Ghana? It can be done. And for us to change the narrative, we want everybody to be on board.
President John Dramani Mahama is expected to officially launch the flagship program on April 11, 2025 at Techiman in the Bunu East region.
Well, that's all for the news updates this afternoon. I am Desmond Okwekudan. So back to Annie Fampofu for the rest of the program. Annie. Oh, yeah, I mean, the minister mentioned that if Niger could do it, I mean, definitely Ghana should be able to do it. And so,
is it about how he said it?
He said if Niger could produce so much onions and even export, how much more Ghana? So, whichever way you analyze the sentence, it rather puts a lot of burden on us, and it's a shame actually that as a country that we tout ourselves as beacon of hope for Africa, you know, one of the big countries in Africa, and we cannot even do this basic thing, and that's why the reference to Niger makes it very, very, bad on our part that we've not been able to do this, and so this should tell us that we need to do more. Yeah.
Well, I can understand where you were coming from.
Yeah.
Viewers didn't know what you said behind the scenes. I saw you, but I can understand where you're coming from.
Even if Niger could do it, we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our geographical location as a country, we have very good soil. Definitely. That grows almost everything.
Yeah.
But the danger, and I never let you go away without touching on the issue of Galamsey. That's the danger we're faced with today. So
that's a very big one.
So even though today, I'm not sure how this government is going to do as far as governance is concerned, because at this point in time, I think that we've gotten to a point where they will have to, they can't work disjointed.
Yeah.
We have to be on sort of an equilibrium so that everybody knows where everyone is.
Yeah,
and then
what the target is,
exactly, so we can operate, because Galamsey is affecting almost everything. It affects what we eat, it affects farming, it affects productivity, it affects our cash crops that we're even exporting outside and all. So we are in trouble. We are in deep trouble. It's not as easy as he said it. That if Niger can do, why can't we do?
There are lots of things that we need to.
There are a lot of factors that are affecting
to work
us.
on
exactly.
to make sure that we're able to do that. Anyways, make sure that you eat Ghana. Yeah, very important.
Well, we hope we can trust Ghana and eat Ghana, because at this point in time,
we can.
Water safe, we import them.
We can.
Anyway, that's it. Thank you for that update. Okay, so that's what we have for you for this afternoon, and the news update that's coming through. But we'll be, getting into other discussions as well. As I've already mentioned to you, the Global Info Analytics has come out with its latest polls, and we are actually going to delve into that. So its polls touches on both leading political parties, and that's the national tracking poll, as it calls it. So how the parties are going to organize themselves to make sure that either they are fulfilling the margin of error that will be that was recorded as far as this post is concerned. We'll discuss that as well. So let's see how it goes, how the parties will be putting themselves together. NDC is in power, the NPP is in opposition, trying to reorganize. We'll be getting into all those details and have a discussion with the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. We'll take a breather. Be back shortly.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRECOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa and the IRECOP with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and IRECOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
So much love in the air. What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here. Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
This April, something big is happening. GH will be turned upside down.
Special people really put effort in this for me.
Thank you guys!
This is for all of us.
It's the 11th edition of the GA Students Movie Awards. 80 categories, over 500 nominees, 103 awards.
For the biggest Students Movie Award celebration.
Happening live at the GH Mega Studios at Chimota, Abofun on the 4th of April 2025.
Red carpet starts at 5:30 p.m. prompt. Come and experience the fun and amazing red carpet moment.
Who takes awards?
And the winner.
The winner.
The winner is.
And the award
goes to
and who wins the Ultimate Movie of the Year award? Now star 800 star 455 hash to vote for your favorite. Cider clashing, surprise artist performances, live music from GH Mega Band.
Sponsors.
GH Student Movie Awards, rewarding excellence. Media partners, also streaming live on
Hi viewers, how well are you informed about the general knowledge of the world? Current affairs, history, English, sports and more. Introducing the Metro Quiz Show. Who said it always seems impossible until it is done? George.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Forget the money.
It was said by Nelson Mandela.
William, 3 points for you and another 13 Ghana cedis. Currently, who is Africa's highest paid footballer? William.
Mohamed Salah.
Forget the money. Alright? Forget the money.
Former Man City player, Riyad Mahrez.
More money for your wallet. Over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Metro Quiz Show.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Metro TV presents a new dating reality show.
Tell me, what's the favorite part of my body, and can you describe it with a word?
Table of Love.
Do you have what it takes to make it to the table of love?
My first heartbreak. Let me tell you. So I went somewhere to sit, and I met goats chewing grass. I sat right in front of the goat, and I asked it, have you ever felt heartbroken before?
Touching, romancing, you take me there, I take you there.
If you expect me to be an angel in your life, you must first create heaven for me. Angels don't live in hell.
Many girls will say touching when you kiss me on the forehead, please. For me, when money touches my palm, I become so wet.
Damn!
of Ghana's was classified as poor.
This is First Generation Show, the program for smart children.
First Generation! Children, are you ready?
My sister and say we are to blame because we have not demonstrated enough our role, our place at the table of men.
But aside from filling the gap, I think that it sends a signal to Africa that the time has come for us to be more self-reliant.
Wablema tesaji Yehowa, wablema tesaji Yehowa, hani jembi fairly ake, oh wale na woyo.
You're welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. We'll be going into the Global Info Analytics pretty shortly, but we have a release that's coming in from the Public Utility Workers Union of TUC Ghana. Now, we all know the issue that's been raging that has to do with some missing containers or some allegedly missing containers at the ports belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. We found these out after the Minister for Energy, John Jinapor, Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, decided to set up a committee to investigate containers carrying ECG cables that are meant for Ghanaians or meant to provide light for the good people of Ghana. Now, this committee was also very necessary because, according to the minister, since he took office, numbers of the containers that were provided him were not tallying. And so he decided that, you know what, I need a committee for investigation. And the outcome of the investigation indicated that there were some over thousands of containers that were not found or that are missing. It looks like as though information and counter information that's coming in from the former ECG boss, Dubik Mahama, and others are looking as though, well, the containers are not missing. Some are saying there were no containers in the first place, but the investigation is still ongoing, and we definitely, surely, as a country, will get to the bottom of it. Now, the Public Utility Regulatory Workers Union of TUC have also released a statement. The statement says that statement by POO on recent development in procurement and clearing of goods at Electricity Company of Ghana. Now, this statement was signed by the General Secretary, Timothy Nyami. We've been able to raise Timothy Nyami on the phone lines. He's joined us via Zoom, I'm told. Is he via Zoom?
Phone.
Is Timothy with us?
Yes, I'm on view.
Oh.
I'm on phone. Yes.
On phone, okay, Timothy, thank you for responding to this call. Now, we've read your statement, but let me jump into paragraph 3 of your statement. You're saying that among the key concerns raised with the committee were procurement issues and excessive government interference in the company. Therefore, POO was not surprised when the Ministerial Investigation Committee uncovered significant procurement and clearing violations. We have repeatedly sought clarification from top management about the procurement processes, especially why containers from purchase were allowed to remain at the port, incurring demurrage. And we have also suggested that top management enter into procurement agreement with suppliers who can deliver goods directly to the agreed locations. So, Timothy, let me find out from you, how long have you been calling and complaining about top management interference of the work of ECG?
Thank you very much, and warm greetings to your listeners and viewers. The issue of missing containers are of much concern to rest. For POO, for them at TUC, have been of following this issue over the period. Within the whole of last year, the issue of containers locked at the port and attracting the mortgage came into our attention, and we have been engaging management. Let us make the correction. It is not management who is interfering in the issues of the company. It is rather government interference in the management. So let's make that correction. It is rather government interference. And our position paper that we issue.
I think we are all part of government. So you rather put it maybe top political class or political interference. Okay.
Interference in top management. So those containers that were brought at the port, as many as 3,000 that were sitting at the harbor and attracting the mortgage, we raised issues to top management, of which we suggested ways, as you can see in the press statement. So when the new minister was appointed and he started work, the issue of privatization of ECG came up. So we drew his attention of infractions that we have identified and also indicated possible alternatives or solutions to those issues. And a notable amount then were the procurement and the interference that we spoke of. Now, as the days went by, we also heard that these containers, some could not be found at the port, and the investigation team set up by the minister has also established the location of some of the containers. So we being concerned on this issue have just called on the investigative team of the minister to actually follow the matter to its logical conclusion. And let us see the possible retrieval of those items, and then those who are involved should be questioned to explain the reason for their action. That's all that the statement is speaking to.
So I asked the question, how long had you been calling and questioning this issue of containers being imported and being left at the port to attract demurrage? How long have you been fighting on that?
So within last year up to the end of the year, we have been asking questions, and we're actually prevailing on management, top management, to see to the clearance of these items so that it doesn't attract demurrage. And we were actually not happy when we had as many as 3,000 containers, which most of the things are needed. As you may be aware, there are a lot of maintenance issues that we need to solve. And once those things are sitting at the port, we think that it is just prudent that the expedite action on clearing those things for the use in the company. So we thought those things were still at the port, only to realize that allegedly some of them have been taken from the port to other unknown locations. So being concerned, we have just asked the ministerial committee, investigating committee, to actually follow up. And let's see how best we can be able to retrieve these items. Then we look at who are involved and see how best we can find solutions today.
Now let me ask you this. You know, if the demurrage that we were incurring was going to be deducted from your salary, I'm sure you would have embarked on strike, right?
But they couldn't venture to deduct from our salary because we didn't procure them.
I can understand. I can understand, but I'm thinking along the lines of the fact that you're a union. It means that you have some corresponding unions at the port. You have corresponding unions at various institutions or MMDAs that you can, on your own, find out information and, based on that information, expose some of these issues before, a new government takes over, and then you act as if you care.
Oh, no, these issues were raised far long before the new government came to office. I said it is an early part of last year that we got wind of it. Then we have been following. There's a meeting called the Standing Joint Negotiation Committee meeting, where top management holds meeting with the leadership of the union. And those issues have been coming up for discussion. So it's not that we couldn't do that.
So the point I'm trying to make is one thing raising issues on this problem or challenge. It's another thing going public and embarking on taking some extra serious, actions to indicate that something is going badly, and then we have to intervene as soon as possible because as we speak, as every day goes by, demurrage is increasing.
Yes. So what we could do was to demand answers, and when management actually promises to do something. If you can also remember, the acting managing director before the new one came, the acting managing director, we were pursuing him, and he also gave us assurance that he is going to negotiate for the reduction in the clearing, and which that's Engineer Temwa. It's something that we have been following. We were following continuously, and we had that assurance. So it is not something that we're slipping over.
You had assurance. Okay, let's do it this way. Who was the first person you wrote to, and you had assurance from?
We didn't write to. We met on it. So we sit down to negotiate to find out certain things that are bothering our mind. Right? We know it is not easy to get hold of these documents, but when we get information, we quickly hold meeting with top management to find out that, look, this is what we are hearing, this is what we have stumbled upon, what is the issue? And truly, management didn't shy away from the fact of those containers at the port. And then they didn't shy away.
When you met, when you met, who was the managing director of ECG and who was the board chairman?
Oh, no, we don't meet with the board chairman. The meeting is top management meeting.
I'm asking, the time you held your meetings, the moments and the periods that you had held meetings to question, who was the managing director at the time and who was the board chair?
Oh, okay. For the managing director, I could vividly remember it was Lawyer Dubik, who was the managing director. I cannot just instantly remember who was the board chair. But by that time, I want to say that Honorable Afenyomakin was not the board chair from the time the team began. You know, Honorable Afenyomakin was
Kelly
appointed.
Was it Kelly Gajepo?
Yes, if the one following the Honorable Afenyomakin, then should be the person. But we didn't hold a meeting with the board chairman.
Right, I appreciate that.
Top management.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you just held meetings with senior management seeking answers, and you were giving assurance.
Yes.
That's what?
Well, giving assurance that it will be handled. And I said after Lawyer Dubik, where Engineer Semwatu was also held meeting with him, of which he also gave us steps that they were taking to clear those goods. So it is not something that was just started recently at all.
So if the minister hadn't raised this issue, what would you have done as POOL, knowing that you had started fighting for answers or demanding for answers? Oh,
fine. You know, we don't operate the organization. We don't manage the organization. We have management, the top management. That's why we have issues. Once we discuss and there's an agreement of taking action, all that we need to do is to continue to do continuous review to find out where they have reached. And as I said earlier, we started with Lawyer Dubik. We continue with Engineer Semwa, and we will have continued with the new managing director as well, just to find out how things were going to be.
Okay, so what are you going to do now? Well, the investigation has started. We're hoping to get to the bottom of it. What do you want to do? You've released this statement. I'm sure the minister may have seen it. What are you doing going forward to support?
We have giving you assurance that, look, we said you should follow it to the logical conclusion to see the circumstances surrounding those actions. And then one thing, we actually need those items. So those items, once they find them, they should bring them to ECG for them to be used for the benefit of the customers.
Do you have any information to help the minister leading them to the rest of the missing items and the containers?
To be very frank, I don't have any information because we just get information. You know, management information is difficult to come by, but once we get it, we actually also reach out to management. So we don't have any information.
Okay. Timothy, we here at Metro TV will be collaborating with you as and when you have some information. Let us know so that we can all contribute to this fighting for the country. Thank you for your time. I'm grateful too. Timothy Nyame is the General Secretary for the Public Utility Workers Union of TUC, and you heard him clearly on how they had been trying to find answers to some of these, incoherent situations within the ECG and the containers that were piling up at the port and also incurring demurrage. All right. Let's pause on that, breathe on that, and move into other areas. I'm sure that will be national politics and the political parties that we're dealing with today. Major of them are two, NDC and MPP. And also, the man that's been helping us with data today, at least in our current dispensation, is Mr. Musa Dankwa of Global Info Analytics. And he has been with us throughout in the previous, I think, 2-3 elections, and has been serving us with polls after polls and data after data. He's with us here in the studio. Mr. Musa Dankwa, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Anna.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us again. So how have you been anyway? I've been seeing you, very active in national discourse.
We can't sit back, Annie.
Watch aloof.
No. So we're just trying to help the situation and kind of highlight some issues and challenges that we are facing as a country that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, but I see that when you try to contribute and share your opinions, you receive a lot of attacks.
That is the we call it what do you call it? Occupational hazard. Okay.
Some of us, we belong to the comment reading gang. So when they post, we really want to see, what people think of it. Okay. So we'll get straight into why you're here with us today in the studio. Or maybe you want to share your opinion with us on this missing containers.
No, there's no data for me to so I'll reserve that for the political
The man has run away.
but I mean, it is, if what is coming out is true, one is shocking in terms of even the budget that was approved and how much was actually spent importing those. I mean, those for me are critical.
7 times, 8 times the budget, or 10 times.
Who did that? I mean, auditors, what did they say? I mean, this is just too shocking. But hey.
It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. But, well, we're building a country, aren't we? Okay. So let's go on. It's a national tracking poll, April 2, 2025. And we'll be doing this with some of our political... I was going to use a word on them, but I don't think it will be fair. So some of the speakers or reps from the major 2 political parties who have been with us, throughout our election. So we have Richard Ahiagba, who's the Director of Communications for the NPP. Dr. Bernard Tutu will also join us later. He's a political marketing expert. And also Dr. Rashid Tanko, popularly known as Computer. He has already joined us via Zoom. I'm sure you can see him on your screen. And he's a Deputy Director of Elections, IT, NDC. So we'll have quite a comprehensive talk about this. Now, let's start. Take us through.
Right.
As and when, I definitely will bring them in.
Sure.
Do we have Richard Ahiagba with us on the line? Okay, not yet. Well, if he joins us, then we'll continue. But Dr. Tanko, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Annie.
Okay, you have to unmute. I think you're still muted. So please unmute.
My brother, Dankwa.
All right. I wish that producers will rather talk to him behind the scenes to unmute because he's still muted, so that as and when he comes in, we'll do the talking. Please, let's go.
I mean, this is our usual 90-day polling cycle, the first one since the elections. And we had to go to the field to sample public opinion on issues of national concern and our regular stuff that we do ask voters. And also, we are aware that there's people are jostling for position in MPP to represent the party in 2026 for the 2028 elections. And we felt we need to find out from voters what their views are on the MPP primaries. But as voters, posters, you must always have policy of equalization. You can't go and do MPP and not do NDC. When you do that, you'll be seen to be a bias. Why are you doing MPP and not doing NDC? So sometimes you go there for a purpose, but you have to balance the questionnaire just to neutralize any thought of biasness. So for those who are saying that it's too early for NDC, we have no choice but to do that. What did we do this time around? We interviewed quite a number of people across all the 16 regions of the country. We engaged roughly 8,470 voters across the country. And these people were drawn from about 84 constituencies in the regions. Now, if you look at the demography, 54% of the respondents were male and 46% were female. In terms of age profile, 18 to 24, 9%, 25 to 34, 30%, 35 to 44, 36%. So if you look at it, the people who are below 45 years constitute a big chunk of the voting population of the respondents. 45 to 54, 18%, 55 to 64, 6%, and plus 65 is 1%. Now, if you look at the educational background, 15% have junior high as the highest qualification, senior high 42%, 31% are tertiary graduates, and 12% did not have formal qualification. What you should note is that people without formal qualification is dwindling across the country. Then employment, 55% were employed, 31% unemployed, students were 13%, and pensioners 1%. In terms of religion, Christians, about 66% of the respondents were Christian, 21% were Muslims, 5% were traditional religion, other religions 4%, and no religion or non-religious group 3%. In terms of Christian denominations, Methodist 22%, Catholic 19%, Presbyterians 18%, Pentecostal 15%, Charismatic 9%, Anglican 8%, other churches 6%, SDA 3%, and just negligible around 0% for Jehovah's Witness. Then among the Islamic sects, we have Sunnah, which is about 53% or 53%, Ahmadiyya 15%, Tijaniya 13%, 11% were Shia, and others 7%. Ethnic groups, Akans broadly 48%, Efes 11%, Maulid Agbani 10%, Gangadangbe 9%, others 9%, the Guans 8%, Guruma 2%, the Grushis 2%, the Mandi 1%, and the Gur barely negligible. Party affiliation. At the moment, people we spoke to, 42% identify themselves as NDC, 32% are MPP, 15% floating voters, 7% did not disclose their party affiliation, and 3% were other political parties. What you can see is that NDC outnumber MPP by 10%. There are 10% more people now who say they are NDC than MPP. In the last election, before the last election,
I wanted some comparison.
MPP outnumber NDC by 3%.
With party affiliation?
Party affiliation.
So this party affiliation is the general, from the sample size?
Yes, from the sample.
Okay.
So we can see that MPP has lost members to NDC because the floating voters didn't change, 15%, and some people came from the not disclosing, going down by 5%, and others 1%. So 6% had come from others and not disclosing, but the rest of the numbers came from MPP. They dropped by 4%.
So with floating voters, non-disclosed others, there was no significant changes there?
In fact, with the floating voters, barely unchanged, but there has been a drop in those who were hiding their true party affiliation, down to 7%. And then those who said there are other parties, also down 1%. And MPP is down, about 4%. Yeah, MPP is down 4% in party affiliation.
Yeah, okay.
Now, in terms of the key issues, the economy, unemployment, and education remain the top 3 issues.
Yes, I
for
remember.
voters. Before the election, it was like that. After the election, the same thing. Nothing has changed with regard to top issues. Now, when we ask them, do they believe, or in your view, do you believe that this country is headed in the right direction or wrong direction? Currently, 62% of voters are saying that Ghana is headed in the right direction. 26% are saying wrong direction, and 12% do not have an opinion. If you compare this data to the last polling data in October, only 31% were saying right direction. Now that number has gone to 62%, doubled. And those who were saying wrong direction were 62%, now only 26%. A dramatic shift in the polling numbers when it comes to people's perception about where the country is headed. Yes.
Sorry, so it has gone down to 26%, which is lower than those who are saying we're going in the right direction in the previous 90 days polls.
Yes, this is as at October 2024, the tracking polls. We're just matching tracking poll to tracking poll.
Yeah.
There was no tracking poll in January.
Yeah.
So we're comparing the first tracking poll in 2025 to the last tracking poll in 2024. So it's a big shift, big shift. Now, if you look at the regions and how they see things, every region except Ashanti region is saying that Ghana is now headed in the right direction.
Oh, wow.
Every region. Even in Ashanti region, 39% are saying wrong direction and 53% say wrong direction. So by a slight majority, but it's quite substantial in terms of how many who are saying right direction in the region.
Well, what was the previous wrong direction percentage? Is that 16? I have it on my phone, but
no, we don't have the comparative for the regions.
Oh, we don't have comparative for the regions.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't go that level to pull it out.
Okay.
Now, in terms of party affiliation, about 37% of MPP voters are saying right direction, but 48% are saying wrong direction. And then when you come to NDC, 84% are saying right direction, 11% wrong direction. Floating voters is 57% right direction and 25% wrong direction. So the main three political blocs, except MPP, NDC and floating voters are saying that we are now headed in the right direction.
Okay, please hold on. Let me check. Is Richard Ahiagba with us? Has he joined us yet? Okay, okay. Let me engage Dr. Rashid Tanko a bit. Kindly pause here. Let me just engage Dr. Rashid Tanko. Doc, you're welcome once again. So this is how far we've come, at least with the wrong direction, right direction survey he's giving us, with the party affiliations, where I think the MPP seem to have lost some membership to NDC. And then you see that also in the regions, he's saying that all the regions are leading in right direction, except for Ashanti region, with about 53%. And even that, we have 39% of persons who think, Ashanti, 39, who think we're going in the right direction. Okay, so it's 53 that says we're going in the wrong direction. Okay, I see that. Doc, what do you make of where we've gotten to now? And even that. Okay, I'm still having a challenge with Dr. Rashid Tanko's feed. So producers, kindly work on that for me. Team, please work on that for us, because we can. Doc, if you can work on your mute button. I think you're still muted.
I've worked on it. I've muted. I've unmuted. I can hear you loud and clear.
No, you're still not audible. Okay, so
it's quite interesting. I've unmuted and I can hear you loud.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. You go ahead.
Okay, so let me say good afternoon to Musa Dankwa and yourself. I mean, and thank him for his yeoman's job so far. I mean, he has proven to be a credible pollster. I mean, I don't have doubt about whatever he put out there. Clearly, the country is moving in the right direction. Nobody needs to tell you. I'm not surprised what is coming out from the Ashanti region. Of late, you saw what they are doing out there in the region. That has brought down the figures. But nonetheless, about 39% still think that we are doing the right thing. The MPP that have marshaled all their energies to Ashanti region and causing a lot of troubles over there. I mean, if you look at the difficulties we've had over the 2 months period, getting to 3 months in government, it's from that region, and it's just not good at all. I don't see what they try to benefit from some of these activities, and that has actually showed in the research. It has just been shown by Musa
when you
Dankwa.
say that they're causing trouble, how do you mean?
Can't you see a lot of this in markets being banned all over the place? Mobile money agents have been killed all over, disturbing the status quo, unnecessary lights off left and right, blackouts all over the place. The minister has to run there to put his feet on the ground, Jinapo, to make sure that everything goes on well, smoothly. What was the intention of that? Just to create a dissatisfaction for the NDC? Is that what they intend doing? As soon as anything happens, the first thing they come out to talk is to attack John Mahama and his NDC. As if we just came in and within a month or two, we have started creating all these problems. Were they not living with that kind of terrible situation for the past 8 years? And then we try to now come back to resolve issues for them.
So I want to believe this is a political allegation where you think that all the natural disasters occurring...
I'm saying, Annie, we are not saying it's political, because when we send our operatives there, when Japa let team to go and make sure that these unnecessary killings, we nip in the bud. Have you heard anything again happening. When we descended the heavily, national security led by Jack. Have you heard anything? When the minister stormed there with a team to find out why this black house and then all this kind of thing happening there, hasn't it stopped? That tells you that some people were out there trying to create disaffection for the government. And on top of it, they started this issue of buckets being bent. Don't you think that this one, as soon as it happened, look at what they were doing out there. They stormed there, all of them. Their leadership were all there, running after each other. They are candidates who want to lead the party, running after each other to go there and solidarize with them, making all manner of reckless statements out there. I mean, these are the things we are talking about. But we are not surprised. We think that Ghanaians have given us the mandate, and they believe that we are on the right path. We are on the right path. Okay. 15 out of 16 are giving us thumbs up. And we are. That's why they did all these things, and that is why the rating has came down to 62, because of what they are doing out there. I can assure you, we are fixing it. Things are getting on well. The president is on top of issues. The ministers are settling down. Everything is going on. CEOs are working. Boards are being put in place, and I can assure you, in the couple of months coming, this rating will skyrocket. It will go up because Ghanaians are now seeing the best governance that they voted for. And things are getting on well. I want to see they've started another strategy by doing reckless press statements and making reckless statements out there, just to create disaffection. When they invite them to come to answer at the security quarters, they are running away, trying to hide under immunity, parliamentary immunity. That is what they are trying to do. They want to hide behind perceptions and other things to create disaffection for the government, and we're not going to allow that.
Right. I think Richard Ahiagba has also joined us. Let me hear him before. Richard, good afternoon to you. Hello, Richard. Okay, I'm sure you're so muted. So kindly unmute and then...
No.
Okay, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Richard. Thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. We're in the studio with Musa Dankwa with his latest post, and we've already gone through the first part of it, where it's looking as though the direction of the country we have in all the regions. 15 out of the 16 think that the country is, headed for the right direction. Only but for Ashanti region, which is having, 53% of its, sample size saying that we're headed for the wrong direction. Dr. Rashid Tanko is also making allegations that because you know that you are losing your grounds, you're creating a lot of problems in the Ashanti region to cause disaffection for the party. But first of all, what do you make of the first part of the post we dealt with before you joined?
Well, I have not familiarized myself with the outcome of the polls. I still maintain my position against my good brother Musa Dankwa's polls. So I won't give it too much premium. But in terms of my own experience and interaction with people and the delivery that was promised by the NDC, we know the country is not going in the right direction. We saw that when the finance minister came to the parliament and produced the budget for 2025, everything in that budget tells me we're not going in the right direction. If you were going in the right direction, you will expect an optimistic estimate for the year 2025. The growth expectation is supposed to decline from the 5.7 they inherited to some 4.8% in 2025. That cannot be going in the right direction. If we are supposed to be going forward and you're going backward, it cannot be in the right direction. Gross foreign international reserve is supposed to decline also. That's estimated to decline in 2025. That cannot be going in the right direction. So my brother Musa Dankwa's poll, I don't know who he's talking to and what those people are taking into account, but there's certainly some general goodwill that the NDC is enjoying, resulting from the newness of the government. That is not indicative of right direction, because if people are saying the country is moving in the right direction, they voted because they wanted the 24-hour economy to come. That's one of the key propositions of the NDC. Do we have the 24-hour economy anywhere in the budget? No. So somebody who voted for Ghana to NDC to come, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to come and do 24-hour economy, and that 24-hour economy is not in the budget, how can that person say the country is moving in the right direction? So definitely the country is not moving in the right direction. The thousands of women, if not millions of women, who voted for the NDC on account of the fact that they were going to bring into being the Women's Development Bank. Today, that is nowhere in the budget. The measly $51.3 million that was allocated for the Women's Development Bank cannot even create a village, savings and loans or Susu bank. It cannot create anything of the sort. Mm-hmm. So that's a disappointment. That's a failure.
Okay. Hello, Richard. Right, I'm struggling to hear him, so let's just restore him. But Mr. Musa Dankwa, I think you can go on. Yeah, you are not allowed to respond. So let's go on.
Hello?
Yes, Richard.
Hello?
Okay, right, I have you. So land. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the thousands or if not millions of young people who voted for this NDC government with a view that they were coming to create jobs for them, if you see the proposal in the
All right, still struggling with Richard. I think when he joins us, we'll continue. But let's go on. President's job approval.
Right, Annie, these are Ghanaians we spoke to. That's what they told us. No big English, simple. Now, when we ask Ghanaians, what do they think of the way Mahama is doing his job? 66% are saying that they approve of the way he's handling his job as president. 23% say they disapprove. 11% have no opinion. If you compare this to the October last year figures, 36% of voters were approving of the way Nando was doing his job. 59% disapproved at the time. 5% had no opinion. This is a dramatic shift in the perception of how the two were performing.
In both perceptions, yes. Approved and disapproved.
Yes.
So even with approved, it has gone up by some 5%.
Here, approved has gone up compared to Nando by 30%.
Sorry, by 30%.
Yes.
For the approved.
Approved, yes.
No. I'm looking at the
disapproval.
Disapproval compared with approval.
Yes, disapproval compared. Yes, it's about. So if you subtract this 23 from the 6,
exactly.
You get a net improvement.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, let's go on.
Now again, every region approved of the president, except Ashanti region, where a slim majority disapproved. In Ashanti region, 42% said they disapprove or they approve, whereas 46% approve. So a margin of 4%. Every other region thumbs up for the president.
Wow. But how does it compare with the country moving in the right direction?
They move in the same direction.
They move in the same, because this is 46, 42.
In that case, the approval is higher than the direction of the country in the Ashanti. There are people who are NDC who will seriously say that, oh, look, we're not there, we're still in the wrong direction. It will take time for people to really understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. Okay, let's go on.
And again, party lines similar to what we saw. Now, when we ask them whether they approve of the way the government is doing or performing, the government itself, 21% said excellent. 55% said very good or good. So together, you have about 76% of people saying excellent or very good or good. Those who are saying average is 9%, poor is 15%. So this is a very strong thumbs up for the government as a whole from the good people of Ghana.
Okay.
We asked them about their standard of living. Compared to the last 12 months, would they say that their standard of living has improved, or is gotten worse, or it is the same, or they have no opinion? Now, 51% of voters are saying that the standard of living has improved compared to the last 12 months, which is last April and this April. 14% said it's gotten worse. 30% said it's unchanged, and 6% did not have an opinion. We went into an election with 47% saying that it's gotten worse. Remember, that was August.
Yeah.
So this is probably part of the reasons why it was difficult for MPP to win that election. And then we asked them about the future. Are they optimistic that from
I want
today...
to ask a question on the improved standard of living.
Okay.
How does your life improve in 3 months?
No, remember this data is from October last year.
Okay.
So, but we give them a time frame of 1 year.
Okay.
But in October, when we spoke to them, this number we're saying that it's gotten worse.
Okay, okay, I understand.
Yes.
Okay, let's go on.
And then we asked them, are they optimistic going forward? You see, this is where you see the optimism based on everything they've heard or they are feeling, budget and everything. 65% of Ghanaians are saying that they are optimistic that things will improve going forward. 20% said no, they don't think anything will change, and 15% did not have an opinion. When you compare this to the October figures, only 40% were saying that they were hopeful things would improve in the next 12 months. 20% said no, so that has not changed. But those who did not have an opinion, they have now dropped to 15%. They are now certain that things are getting better and will get better. So this is the view of Ghanaians looking ahead.
Okay.
And then we asked them about the state of corruption today. In their view, is it improving? Is it getting worse? Or is it the same? Or they have no opinion? Currently, 56% of Ghanaians are saying that they believe corruption is improving.
I actually want to believe that goodwill sometimes informs and shapes opinions. Just having goodwill for a particular new government or...
But you also agree with me that there has been some steps towards fighting alleged corruption.
Yes.
The oral work.
Yes.
And the things that came up.
Yes, which was very significant in the campaign season.
Absolutely. It is also informing this kind of perception.
Okay.
Is it getting worse? Look, it was 52% in October last year. It is now 14%.
Okay.
Those who said it is the same, barely unchanged, 24, 23. No opinion has gone up to 7%. So there is a big movement in those who believe that it is improving. This must have been triggered by certain actions of the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
And across every region, except this time around, I think, where is the region? Except Bunu region, right? Every region says that corruption is improving, including Ashanti region.
Hey.
Majority of voters across all the regions are now saying that corruption levels is getting better.
Including
improving.
Ashanti region?
Yes, but it's only Bunu where those who are saying it is the same outnumber those who are saying it is improving.
Can I say that the Ashanti region is a very...
Even though...
It's a fluid region.
Even though they didn't say that we're heading in the right direction, they didn't give the president approval rating, but they are saying here...
When it comes to corruption...
they are saying that it is improving.
It's improving. And remember, viewers, that this is compared with data of October 2024.
Oh.
Yes, okay.
So broadly, everybody is in agreement. Even in Bunu, they were not negative. They were saying it's the same. But broadly, everybody believes that corruption is... And look, this is the corruption performance over the last 3.5 years. You see the curve?
Yeah.
Now to 13% is getting worse. So you can see big change. And then when we ask them...
Can you go back to the curve?
Oops,
No. Okay.
When we first started polling in January 2022, getting worse was 43%, improving 23%. It kept dropping. the most possible, the highest it's been for the last 3.5 years was January 2022. Now look at where it is. Look at the green curve. 56% saying it's improving. And those who are saying it's getting worse has plummeted from
52 to 13. Wow.
Now, we did ask them another question. Do you believe that the government is doing enough to fight corruption? We've been asking this question every time.
Yeah.
Those who said yes, they believed the government was fighting corruption, in October 2024 were 29%. Today, that number is 59%, plus 30 points.
Okay.
Those who are saying no, the government is not doing enough, it was 62%. Now 26%, a huge drop. Something must have happened for them to change their mind this significantly. So certainly something that they are seeing is having impact on the polling numbers. Again, fighting corruption, every region says yes. In Ashanti region, it's 42-42.
Okay, those who say yes, 42.
Those who say no, 42. Then we did something about league table of corrupt public institutions or perceived corrupt public institutions. We gave them the chance to rate using 1 as the least corrupt and 10 being the most corrupt.
You don't normally do this.
This is the first time we are tracking this.
Nice.
It will go. We will carry on doing this until 2028.
Okay. This will be fantastic because it's rather unfortunate where every time we have to rate our institutions, we do that with international data.
Yeah, we do local data.
So this time we are doing it ourselves.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So on the score, police top the rank. Number 1, the police service.
Mm-hmm.
They were first last year as well. The immigration service now in 2nd position. The judiciary, 3rd position. 4th, the GRA officials. 5th, local government reps, who are normally assemblymen and the local guys. Business executives are now up here as perceived to be corrupt. Officials of EC, next. Traditional leaders, next. Parliament of Ghana, here. The prison service, the military, the presidency, religious leaders, and ministers and government appointees. Now, the remarkable difference here is that the presidency, which used to be number 2 last year, is now last but 3 perceived corrupt institution. That is a turnaround for the presidency.
Do I have any of my guests online? Do I have Richard there? Do I have Dr. Rashid Tanko there? I have Richard. I can see Richard, so if I have him, especially Richard, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice.
I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes, great. I can hear you. I know you have your doubts, but thank you for still engaging us. On the issue of corruption, I think you've gone with us through how the perception is looking like people think that, yeah, the government is doing something to fight corruption. And also, we for the first time, Global Info Analytics is conducting, some polls on our institutions that have been in our eye as far as corruption perception index is concerned. The police is still leading. My interest is how the presidency has moved all the way down. You said it was, where was it first? It was 3rd.
It was number 2.
It was number 2. And it's now moved to number...
Last but 3.
Last but 3. Felix, Richard, corruption. What do you make of this indicator?
It's premature. There's every indication that he's getting from his measurement, quite apart from my reservation about his polls, it's people's goodwill. There is nothing before people to judge in terms of real performance if anything at all, the judgment or measurement of this government of future performance is in the budget. That was what I was talking about, and somehow your people rudely muted my phone and you couldn't hear me. I didn't land, and then you just moved away from me.
Nobody muted your phone. Nobody muted your phone.
Because you just moved away from me to Musa Dankwa when I was in the middle of my
because I couldn't hear you.
I found that very objectionable. I don't know why you guys would do that. But the point I'm telling you is that any measurement of this government, whether it's fighting corruption or not, whether it's delivering and the country is moving in the right direction or not, is manifest in the budget. The budget is what we're going to use to measure its performance. And we're saying that the proposals in the budget leave much to be desired. It doesn't exude that confidence. So anything that people are telling Musa Dankwa on his polls are just people's high feeling, the feeling of change, the feeling of newness. Okay. Those are not substantial feelings. So on those score, I just say that it's too early and it's too premature to want to take any measurement seriously. That's for me what I want to say. Okay. But I'm saying that on the matter of the country moving in the right direction, it cannot be because if you take the millions of young people who wanted the National Codes program to come and save them, they won't see that salvation because for 1 billion people to be trained with 100 million, you know there's nothing that is going to be done. Thousands and millions of people who wanted a national apprenticeship to come and save them, those young people will not see anything because 300 million cannot make a dent. And I'm saying that women, including yourself, Annie, who voted for the NDC, I'm not suggesting you voted for the NDC, but I'm saying that millions of women who voted for the NDC, who were hopeful that the Women's Development Bank will come, the measly 51.3 million is not going to make any dent. And the millions who voted because there's going to be 24-hour economy, there's no show in the budget. So definitely the country cannot be said to be going in the right direction. Whatever indication Musa Dankwa is getting from his polls is as a result of a high resulting from a new government having come into office.
Okay,
soon enough.
But Richard, just a quick one.
The reality.
This polls is called National Tracking Polls. So regardless, so regardless the time it's happening, you know that you're only tracking the sentiments, the observation, the opinions of your people. So it might be at this point, in fact, I agree with you that it might be that the government is benefiting from goodwill. We're yet to experience the real deal. So if after 90 days another tracking poll is conducted, you're sure to have some changes because then you see real things happening and people's opinions are probably going to be changing, you understand? So it's understandable that you have your reservations, but this is national tracking polls. I just want to make that point.
Now, even if you put world tracking poll to it, doesn't make any difference, Annie. The point is that this is a honeymoon sentiment that people are saying. People haven't judged anything. People haven't experienced anything. What we are saying is that if you give it a year, the country is going to actually fully come to the knowledge of what the NDC is able to do or not to do, following the implementation of the 2025 budget. Right? And that budget does not bring any change, does not bring any hope for the people. And that's where Musa Dankwa should go and take the poll, and we want to see the reflection in that, at that point. So what you are seeing now is more like people leaving the church reception after a wedding, and then you come and take a poll after the honeymoon. I mean, give them a couple of days when people begin to see what it is to experience you, Annie, as a wife, or me as a husband. And after a month or 2 or 6 months, then you'll be able to give a full assessment of my capacity as a good husband or your capacity as a good wife. So what I'm trying to say is that what you have now is a high coming from a honeymoon, but the real issue is in the budget. And I'm saying that if anybody is doing objective assessment of what is to come in this 1 year, nobody who has done that assessment can say that this country is moving in the right direction. We're heading back, and we're heading back quickly.
Okay, there's a lot more. I'm sure we're not going to finish this today because we haven't dealt with the parties, the two political parties. And then we also haven't dealt with the issue of Galamsey that you have raised. I'm sure that will also be a point of interest. So if we are unable to exhaust it's about 83 pages, right?
We can just skip the key points.
We can, okay. Okay, so this is about the corruption. Where do you think we should? I don't want that to skip because I want everybody to appreciate from slide to slide so that we can have another day, God willing, maybe next week, to finish the rest. This is corruption perception table, Afrobarometer.
By Afrobarometer last August.
Okay, so this is what you compared with.
Yes, what we did.
With your first one you did.
Yes,
interesting.
Yes. So in the last Afrobarometer report, police were on top, the presidency number 2, tax officials or GRA number 3, MPs number 4, judges number 5. What we've seen now is that the judges moved to the 3rd position.
To number 3.
Number 3, GRA comes to 4th, and Parliament slips down there. So you can see the political arm of our political system are now ranking low in terms of perception. Oh. And then the presidency is now last but 3, but here it was top 2.
Wow. It says a lot about the new government that has come in.
Yes.
But I don't know what the police is doing at the top.
They've always been at the top.
Yes, I don't know what they want at the top.
They have to, it will take time for that perception to change. So long as we are seeing them on the roadside taking 2 cities, they will continue to
even regardless the changes of leadership, IGP here and there, the controversy with Dan Parry and all, it's still not affecting police.
Maybe the perception has to be a KPI for the IGP going forward. How does the public see the police in terms of corruption? And what can the police service itself do in terms of education for us to know that these things we're not supposed to do with the police people? So that when people are aware that they're not supposed to do that, then probably the police will be challenged to pursue on that angle. But certainly you can't eliminate corruption, it will persist, but then there should be an effort to fight it. Even the immigration, the same thing. There should be kind of commercials, billboards, telling people what they shouldn't do.
I see. I'll go onto the phone lines and speak with another political marketer, but let's move on to the next 2 slides or so, and then I'll go there.
Right. Let's just go to the issue of Galamsey.
Nice.
Issue of Galamsey. There has been a talk that Galamsey is on the increase. So we went to ask voters whether they believe it's on the increase, or is improving, or it hasn't changed. From this survey, 44% of them were saying that it's the same, nothing has changed. But 10% said it is getting worse. However, 38% said it is improving across the country, and 9% didn't have an opinion. Now, if you drill down the data into the regions that are doing Galamsey and those that don't, in the area of Galamsey, 28% said it is improving, but another 25% are saying that it's worse. So slightly improving by 3%. And then those who are saying that it's on change is 42%. So largely 42% on change, and getting worse is 25%. So most people are saying that it's either worsened or unchanged. So
maybe we want to say that it's still the same.
Largely
still
the same, yes.
If you combine the two.
Largely is the same.
Okay.
And then we come to Dumso.
Yes.
Has it gotten worse since John Mahama took over? Or it has improved? Or it's the same? 41% are saying that it is unchanged. 20% are saying that it is worsened. But 34% are saying that it has improved. So you can see that the verdict is that largely not worsened.
That was what? That was Dumso?
That's Dumso.
So the top 3, Galamsey,
Dumso, and education. You see, the reason why people may feel that we're headed in the right direction is because of some of the thinking along this line. Look at education, free education. Do you believe that it has gotten worse since Mahama took over, or it is improved, or unchanged? 44% said it is unchanged. 11% are saying that it's worsened, but 37% said it has improved. For them, it has improved. So if somebody said it is improved, then he sees that the country may be heading in the right direction on education.
I mean, we were making a lot of noise about food that the children were eating.
And now I think that noise has gone down.
Yes.
And that is why you are seeing the improvement exceeding those who are saying is worsened.
Okay.
The budget that I was talking about, 64% of Ghanaians are happy with the budget.
I mean, this year's budget, everything was different about it. I think it was more understandable. It was brief.
Simple.
Yes, very simple. Not so much of economic jargons. And just said what was necessary for him and left the rest for ministry.
Only 10% of voters were not happy with the budget.
With the budget.
26% are neutral. So largely, 64%.
That's huge.
That is huge. And when people are feeling like this, it shouldn't surprise you when they say that we are headed in the right direction.
So what this budget informed me or reminded me about the previous old finance ministers who will present the budget, and after which you know that, okay, so one ball of kinky will cost me this much. This presentation gave us that feel. Even though we were not there at the time, but we read about it by history, we know what happened. This budget, after reading, what we did was to now read sentiments of persons who were doing, what do you call that thing? Betting.
Betting.
And directly it affected them. So absolutely, they were informed and knew what their positions were. So I'm sure that will also inform opinions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If the budget repeals e-levy, which was very unpopular, people would think that now we're headed somewhere, right direction. So sometimes these figures provide additional evidence to support how people are feeling in terms of the data. Now, we did ask people, okay, let's stop here.
Let's stop here. We're not going to go into the parties.
Yes, so
we'll do that, I promise you. I'm sure Musa Dankwa will never says no to me when I call him, and I'm grateful to him for that one. So please, when it comes to the elections and politics, is political parties, we'll deal with them next week so that we can give it some more time, because our time is almost up. But we have Dr. Bernard Tutu Boahin with us, political marketing expert, who will take us through what he also thinks of what we've done so far. Doc, if you're online, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. So we've gone through, I think the few phases that I can remember is the direction the country is headed towards is looking positive for the government. If you look at corruption fights, is also looking positive for the government. I think where the government is looking stale is Galamsey fights, Dumsor situation, and maybe, okay, standard of living as well. People are saying generally their standard of living has improved. This is polls compared with October 2024 last year. And that is how it's looking like today. I think next week we'll get into the political parties and its activities. What do you make, your overview of what has been presented by Global Info Analytics?
Yes, Nana, so good afternoon to you once again. Good afternoon to Musa, my friend, and good afternoon to viewers, wherever they are. I think that, yes, the polls is good, and I need to commend Musa Dankwa for all the things that he has been doing, so far. Let me be quick when it comes to the data that he has put forth. I think that the first is the fact that people believe that within this time of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government, they seems to believe that things are moving in the right direction. And that is quite subjective based on what people are seeing and what people feel. And if, as it were, the Ghanaian people believe that, yes, things are moving in the right direction, then it may be as a result of certain changes that they have seen, probably from policy implementation and in terms of standards of living, and probably certain things like Galamsey that people were not really happy with. Probably they've seen the government taking certain initiatives and certain steps, to bring us some level of solutions to it. I think that yes, I listened to the delivery by Richard, and he is of the opinion that yes, it is because the NDC government is also enjoying certain goodwill. I think that if that is also true, then it places some level of burden on His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government, to the extent that the expectations are still in there for them to deliver. And it also suggests that there is no point for the John Dramani-led government to fail Ghanaians. Let me be quick on issues of Galamsey, because it seems that the data is suggesting that the government is still, struggling with the fight. From where I sit, I see some level of media report and, the attempt on the part of government in trying to arrest or probably solve the problems of Galamsey. Yesterday, UTAG met the sector minister, Honorable Amabua, and we gave him certain pointers that could probably help in the fight, against Galamsey. For us, we believe that in the first place, the government should try as much as possible to declare a state of emergency, on Galamsey activities, especially in the forest zones and our river bodies. Second, we said that, this machinery that these Galamseyers are using, the Shamfans, which of course we know where they are constructed in Ghana here, because now Shamfans are assembled, in the open spaces. These excavators that move through our ports and through our borders, to the points of distractions. We want government to equally ban, its importation on it, so that when these two are done, at least we may have some, flexibility or some chance to, as it were, track even the ones that are already in the system.
Yeah.
The third thing is that we equally want government to declare war on, the perpetrators of these Galamsey activities. What it means is that these days we hear that they have even recruited people from neighboring countries with sophisticated weapons, in our forest zones, and they are even killing. Now, what it means is that we have trained military people, we have ammunitions, we have everything that we can use to go for war. Now, we were trying to, as a country, we were trying to have some level of negotiations and all that with them. But if they are carrying it to the point of killing, then of course we don't have any business sitting back. We need to declare war on them and fight them. So these were some of the three major areas that UTAG, freely suggested that the sector minister should have discussions with, the president. And you see, people may feel that Galamsey, the fight against Galamsey has not changed, or the government is not making any meaningful, impact on Galamsey. But I feel that when these three things are carried out, it will actually lead to results, and then people's confidence in the government when it comes to Galamsey fight, people's confidence will even go up in that area. With the issues of doing so, I think that, you see, we need to again explore alternative, electricity, production, innovations. And we need to do that because Akosombo, we, cannot, help us. And once we have this TICO, and other plans available, if we are also realizing that, we are still not making any headway, we need to explore. At least there should be a policy implementation on solar and solar farming, at least. And probably once we are able to do that, this issue about Dumsor, we can reduce it to some acceptable, level. All right. People have raised questions about privatizations and all that. To me, that probably may not be a solution, though it could contribute to, the issues of bringing some level of solutions to, Dumsor. But I think that government should have real policy, exploring all other areas that will make it possible for us, to come out of these things. I feel that we've gotten to a stage in our economy or national development where energy is everything to us. So government must be really serious about some of these things. But when you look at the recent trends and whatever is happening, I mean, I feel that, yes, the data is right when people say that, Dumsor is not having a solution, or we are not truly getting a solution to Dumsor. I think that we need to do more, and the current government even has a responsibility, to solve that problem. And issues about standards of living, I feel a bit fascinating. I mean, plantain, a sizable plantain, now costs around 120 Ghana and all that. It may not be the doing of the current government, but you also understand that we live in a country where agriculture is dependent on rain. So when it is not raining, obviously foodstuffs will be very expensive.
Okay. Doc, I'm sorry about it, but because of time, our time is actually up, so we need to wrap up on this one. 30 seconds. Mr. Musa Danquah, just give me your last word, and then we will move out of the studio.
I have nothing much to add, but just to caution people that these are Ghanaian views. If they ignore what people are telling us, they shouldn't be surprised again in 2028.
Okay. So assuring that you're coming back for us to do the rest of the slides next week, God willing. So we'll have him next week, God willing. I'm sure Monday will be okay for you. And then we can complete what's happening. We'll engage the same persons that we were talking to on this matters going forward, because they are the political players. They will know what exactly is going on in their parties, and they will tell us what to do next. But we'll leave it here. This is what time will allow us. Has been Good Afternoon Ghana. Thank you for watching. We're back next week, Monday. Good afternoon.
Togbegan Gazari V, Paramount Chief of Aveme Traditional Area, Mamagan Aloglo I, Paramount Queen Mother, Aveme Traditional Area, Ex-Sergeant Winifred Crantain,